So Davos is on, the World Economic Forum 23, the annual meeting. Now, the internet was abuzz with rumors that Klaus Schwab himself had pulled out due to health issues. Although there was never really any official sources for that news, the rumor took a life of its own online, especially after George Soros tweeted that he won't be attending this year because of a scheduling conflict. Really? A globalist billionaire had a scheduling conflict before a globalist event that he regularly attends with his buddies? Anyway, the opening was held today and Klaus was there with his wife Hilda, as well as some artists and Hollywood elite like Idris Elba. Yes, and Klaus did actually make some opening remarks, or maybe it was a clone of himself, as some people are saying. But maybe he made the opening remarks to dispel some of the rumors that were circulating about him. Now, if you missed out, you might be wondering what exactly happened at the opening. Well, here's a little highlight to give you a gist of it all.
Good evening, and a very cordial welcome to the annual meeting 2023. We are confronted with so many crises simultaneously.
Anti-climate crisis, climate change emission.
With climate change due to the climate crisis, all of us are simply devouring the planet.
2018 Crystal Award.
That the arts should be fully embedded in our healthcare systems.
Queen Elizabeth II. Please go on.
Food security, gender equality, youth empowerment, and glorious, glorious nature. And I want to pass to my better looking half.
Hilda, thank you, Professor Klaus. Social equity. We need to protect our environment. Davos has become the de facto platform for governments, for corporates, for philanthropists, food security, climate change, in mitigating climate change.
And shape the future.
What does it need to master the future, to construct and to shape the future?
Predictable, right? I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that going forward. I mean, it didn't even take more than an hour after Klaus had finished up the opening for a Swiss MP to suggest something that sounds eerily similar to the 15-minute city concept. Here's the video.
Important for policy is really to change the rules of the game, no? So that sustainability becomes the easier choice, not just for the people, but also for the companies, no? So also then changing the way districts work. For instance, in Zurich, we have a lot of districts where you actually don't need a car because all the activities, no, school, buying something, everything you can do in walking distance, no? And by doing that, no, people don't buy a car, and it's not felt like actually they would like to have a car and they are not allowed to have it, but they simply don't need it because the environment was built in a way that they don't need it. And I think this is what policy needs to do. They have to change the environment. So a sustainable lifestyle, a lifestyle in harmony with nature is the easiest way to go. And also for the companies. No? And
apparently he doesn't need a car. I think this is just a taste of the types of things we'll hear over the next few days. So I'll be keeping an eye on things and sharing bits and pieces along the way so you don't have to watch, especially if you're in Australia because of the time difference. And also, you know, do you really want to watch these globalists going on and on? But, you know, if you do want to keep an eye on things, the forum website actually has live streams for most of the public speaking sessions. Anyway, let's read a related news headline. As elites arrive in Davos, conspiracy theories thrive online. I mean, it's almost becoming customary for these headlines to herald the beginning of the World Economic Forum. That was a lead article by the Associated Press, and the tweet that accompanied it, it said, "The World Economic Forum, which opens Monday, is slated to take on pressing global issues, but online, it has become a target of bizarre claims from a growing chorus who believe it involves a group of elites manipulating events for their own benefit." I mean, the nerve of people like us to think that politicians, businessmen, oligarchs, celebrities, and activists holding a secret meeting in the Swiss Alps would not always be, you know, them working in our best interests. I mean, as Greta would say, how dare you? You have to give it to these mainstream press students that write this gibberish though, right? It shows you just how disconnected they are from the rest of the world. And if it's not that, then surely they are running cover and PR for the World Economic Forum. Come to think of it, that might actually make sense. We know at least the vice president of the Associated Press News, Ian Phillips, is at the World Economic Forum as an invited high-profile guest. So do they seem just a little overly concerned now that more and more people are paying attention to what these guys, get up to in the Lux alpine town of Davos at the invitation of Klaus Schwab? I mean, is this even an elected body? And why is our elected leaders going there, right? Funny, they've also been trying to distance themselves from saying some of the crazy things that they've said in the past, right? Like, you'll own nothing and be happy. And of course, forcing the rest of the world to give up meat and eat insects as a yummy alternative. Things which were clearly posted and shared by the World Economic Forum. But if you bring that up, they will try to call you a conspiracy theorist today. I reckon they're worried. For a long time, they've had a good thing going and not many people are focused on it, right? Sure, people interested in economics may have paid some attention and it might have made some financial news shows or newspapers, but the average everyday person like you and I, we weren't too interested what was happening in Davos, right? Yet because of the events of the past few years and seeing how interrelated world governments, organizations and multinational corporations are in dictating the direction and condition of the lives of everyday people, we're definitely paying attention now, and we can see the hypocrisy as they lecture us from their private jet-surrounded ivory towers. Did you know last year there was around 1,040 private flights landing and departing during the time of the World Economic Forum in Davos? And if you add up the days preceding and just before the forum finished, it was around 2,000 private flights. Seriously, what are the chances they will reduce their carbon footprint this year? And the icing on the cake has to be that it's not just their pals in the mainstream media that's covering events anymore, right? The icing on the cake for us. We have a ton of independent and alternative news wires looking very closely at what's happening up in Davos, and it's unnerving them to no end. Look at the security. And yes, there's always been security at these events because of the types of world leaders that attend. But they are definitely more on edge now, as evidenced by this video posted by Rebel News.
Here's some more serious cops, and that says police, but that's your drab green camouflage. These are the serious blokes.
And this is a new vehicle. This wasn't here last time I was here. This vehicle here, which has the...
That looks like an anti-riot screen in case people are throwing things at the vehicle. I think that's what that's for.
Absolutely, but it makes you wonder what intel did they get? Or...
You guys stop filming us, all right? Can I ask why? Yeah, ask why? It's part of the news, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But we don't like our faces in the news all over the world, okay? So
I respect that. We'll blur your face. I promise we'll blur your face. It's a promise. Okay. It's a promise. I promise we will.
We do our jobs. We have families at home. We don't need us in the news.
I respect that. We'll blur your face. Thank you for that.
And on that, if you're following along at home and you want to keep up to date with Davos, the actual forum website has some great resources. I hate to say, but you can follow the independent press. There's Rebel News, obviously that's there. Avi Yemeni, he's covering it with Ezra Levant, and they have a team up there. There's Andrew Lawton from True North, a Canadian publication. There's Savannah Hernandez, Sav Says with Turning Point USA, that's also there covering things. And of course, Twitter is a great resource. If you just type in the hashtag WEF23, I think Russell Brand is doing some WEF coverage. You'll find a lot of alternative independent media, a lot of that type of coverage of Davos that you won't see in the mainstream media here in Australia or even in other countries that don't really cover the ludicrous things that these people are saying, right? They've just been going there and saying these ridiculous things for years and years now, and now we're listening and we're airing the things that they're saying. And sure, there might be some relevance to some of the points that they're making, but when we look at it in certain through a certain lens, through certain perspectives, or how it relates to the world as it is now, some of it seems absolutely ridiculous. Tell me your thoughts. Are you guys following Davos? Do you want to see more Davos coverage, or do you want to just completely ignore Klaus Schwab and his gang? Again, guys, thank you for the continued support and watching my videos, and thank you also for the feedback. So if there's anything I can improve, if you want to see less subtitles, more subtitles, whatever it is, let me know, because I've been experimenting with things like that as well. But yeah, until the next video, see you guys then.